few seem to understand it. It's really very simple. Bitcoin standard. It's like underhanding the underhanded. The advantage over the archlords, the last laugh, because that is what is standard. Grand plan and also the greatest work, returning of us, valuing all of our time for the value we make it worth. Down are the days of us opening paper purses, handed away, hodling tight, counting the days to hyper-Bitcoinization world. It's time for bankers to move over, cause they no longer rule over us. They no longer owning us. They've no longer got us groveling for all their gold and dust. Owe us nothing neither though. Bitcoin standard told you cause the rules are set and dated, now they're ours. Ancient establishment fading away, taking the place. Round of applause, my club is here to tip your fucking boat. So best to be grabbing the oars, number going up. Fuck the moon, we're here to be roaming the stars. Bitcoin standard, yo, it's the Bitcoin standard fee. It's the Bitcoin standard, it's how we plan it for you and me. It's the Bitcoin standard, yo, it's the Bitcoin standard fee. It's the Bitcoin standard, it's how we plan it for the family. It's the Bitcoin standard, yo, it's the Bitcoin standard fee. The Bitcoin standard is how we plan it for you and me. It's the Bitcoin standard, y'all. It's the Bitcoin standard, see. It's the Bitcoin standard is how we plan it for the family.
Good morning. I feel a little bit bad if I'm shouting too much these days. I'm not in my normal studio, obviously. I told you guys on Wednesday that I'm not sure if I make it. And you know, I had those weird thoughts in my head of like, I could also not go live. I could just like sleep in the bed. I was like, just like sleep in the bed and don't do it. Like I'm in Bulgaria. Like I'm at this conference. Like why should I go live? And then it's like those small voices in your head that say, you can relax now. Like it's okay. Like just lay back, kick back, do something else. Like watch Netflix or anything like that. And those voices like, oh, it's so late also. It's like 9:17 p.m. my time. Like I will wake up everyone around me and all those voices in my head. I was like, fuck it. I'm doing it anyways. I really I wanted to do the podcast anyways. I did a little bit of redecoration of my hotel room to get the lighting right, to get everything right. And I even had to crack a zip tie open with a fork that I found. So I don't know. I have to kind of repay the hotel probably for some of the stuff. So really cool. Thank you so much for everyone showing up on this Friday afternoon. We are crashing down tremendously, and I think like a little bit on the upwards movement, but let's get everything started. Let's see who's already in here. MP is in here, Ratoshi is in here, Mr. Ad, I haven't seen you before. I feel like you really need to get Bitcoin Ben on your show so you understand what's going on. Understand, interesting. AU Santino, yeah, and by the way, Bitcoin Ben, do you mean Ben from BTC Session? BTC Session Ben was already on the show, but yeah, like Bitcoin Ben, is there another Bitcoin Ben? Might be that I'm missing out on another Bitcoin Ben. So anyways, we are here at a block height. Let's see what we are going on. What's going on at a block height of 919542 and the current exchange rate of 106,000 US dollars. And currently you get for just one US dollars, you get almost 1,000 Satoshis. Remember back when I started the live stream just 2 weeks ago, or like not even 2 weeks ago, we had an all-time high, 126,000 US dollars. And this is always great. Like we want to see the all-time highs. We want to see like Bitcoin booming. But I'm super excited that you can just like for $1 now buy a whole almost 1,000 Satoshis. $1 like that's tremendously amazing for me. And so really interesting to see what's currently going on. Of course, we have to address the elephant in the room. We are going down, and gold is going up. That's for me such an interesting thing to see, and I really want to dive deep. I have prepared some videos. I prepared some things to see for today. But before we get started with that, let's just look at what happened. We are at 106,000 US dollars. The past 5 days, we have gone down from $116,000 all the way down to 100, I think 103 or 104, something like that. I think 103, we actually hit 103, was going down. And this was kind of interesting to see when we had such a long-winded down run for that. And on the flip side of that, we have gold. We have gold. And I mean, since I started this chart, it's going down a little bit. So it went down from like 4.3 to now 4.2, not a big deal. But the past 5 days, we're up 6%. The past month, we're 15% up. The past 6 months, we're 26% up. Year to date, 60% is huge. I think 60% year to date, that must be better than Bitcoin. Am I wrong here? I think 60% in just year to date is better than Bitcoin. Yeah, year to date, Bitcoin has only done 15%. So gold 2025 so far absolutely crushing just on the numbers basis. Bitcoin, but I have prepared some things, some fun things also on some charts that's only in this short term, and we have to look beyond that also. But before, I always want to start with one big video, with one kind of bullish video that I've seen, and that is kind of made me like really bullish again, made me understand something new, and this is kind of what I want to address. And yeah, I want to address also the question from MB, more downside. But before, I want to quickly dive into this video because it's super interesting. It has a little bit less to do with today's topic, but I want to do anyways, put it in there because I think it's a really interesting video of explaining what is a bubble and what is actually a trend and what is kind of going on with Bitcoin. And this is the video that I would send. So let's just show it here. This is the video. Next time someone says Bitcoin is just a bubble, show them this. This is, for me, the best showcase, or the best short explainer to someone what's actually going on with Bitcoin. But yeah, let's listen in. Hope you guys can hear it. I'm on just one monitor, so I see a little bit less than usual.
Ladies and gentlemen, bubbles have 3 characteristics. They tend to be a single cycle, boom, then bust, relatively short in duration, and crash back down to the baseline, which is either 0 or the inflation-adjusted place of where they were before the boom. The Dutch tulip mania was like this. So was the housing bubble. So was the dot-com bubble. And so was pretty much every other bubble ever. So what about Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin, it's actually hard to see the price cycles because it's increased such radically in value over time. So we're going to use a logarithmic scale to look at what it looks.
And this is kind of the first thing that I'm kind of always, if someone says like, oh, Bitcoin is a bubble, it's just like, how, like the time frame, like if you see what a bubble is, it's never been that long. Like even if you completely outlaw any fundamentals, if you outlaw any principles that you can study in Bitcoin, even if you outsource everything of that, you still have to see like what's the characteristic of a bubble. And he kind of explains the characteristics, like completely outside of just the fundamentals of Bitcoin, because we always like defend ourselves like with the fundamentals, but he really goes into characteristic on how a bubble looks like and what he can and what Bitcoin looks like. And it's very different to everything that we have kind of seen so far.
Looks like on a price cycle where you go from 0 to $1, then to $10, $100. It's called the logarithmic scale, which is often used for assets with this level of upside. So in the first price cycle, Bitcoin went from about 5 cents up to $32, back to $2. Now, if we were having this debate in 2011, you could be forgiven for believing it met 2 of the 3 criteria of a bubble, except that it landed at a price that was 40 times as high as the 5 cents that it started at. What happened next? It didn't go to 0.
And this is the amazing explanation for like everyone that is like kind of new to Bitcoin, and then hasn't lived through many of those cycles. But anyone that lived through like the last 5 or 6 or maybe even like 7, 8 years through Bitcoin kind of knows, oh, there's always this new meme of like, oh, we're crashing down to $100, we're crashing down to $1,000, we're crashing down to like a 10,000 US dollars. We've crashed down to 16,000 US dollars. We in 2021 was this the huge thing. We've come up to like 68, 69,000 US dollars and then crashed till I think 16,000 or 15,000 was the down point. And then people are like, oh, we crashed down to 16,000. Now, not that long ago, just like 4 years ago, we are like, oh gosh, like we crashed down to 103,000 US dollars. So it always has a higher baseline. If you look at Bitcoin, not from like yearly highs, so like what is the all-time high in the specific year, but look at Bitcoin, what is the yearly low? What is the lowest point of Bitcoin each year? Those charts are way better to look at because it kind of takes out like the high cycles and the blow off tops. And it kind of looks at like what is the fundamental, what is the basis, and we kind of can talk about that actually just right now here because SMP said like, okay, what is more downside? And for me, downside in Bitcoin is really interesting as a term because for me, more downside means I get more Bitcoin. And this is the most important point what we have to remember with Bitcoin and with dips and crashes. I personally earn Bitcoin. So, and all my prices, all my incomes are denominated in US dollar. Except mining, I guess. I also have some mining income, but like outside of that, everything is denominated in US dollar or euros. So when the Bitcoin price dips down, I get more freedom. I get more freedom money. I get more sound money for the same thing. Like that's what we want. Like you get a bigger slice. Bitcoin is finite. There's only one pizza there. You can infinitely divide this pizza, but if you have a whole slice, it's yours, and you can eat from it a very long time. And so if you fall down in price and you get that downside in price, you actually get more of the slice of the pizza. And this is the main thing that I always want to get across. Those dips are an opportunity, a chance to grab more freedom for yourself. And maybe you disagree with if you are now 80 years old and saying like, oh, like I want to now like retire from that, or like you probably already retired, but I want to give something to my uncles and nephews and all of that. It's like, but still in this day, it's better for you if it dips to get more of the slice because you get more of Bitcoin. It will go up long term. And if you in the only instance for you to wanting for Bitcoin to go up is if you say, I want to sell it soon, or I want to spend something big soon, or I want to rub it in the nose of my friend or my family member that mocks me about Bitcoin. Then you want Bitcoin to go up. But those are not like really legit reasons, especially for people that are young, like under 50 years old. Like you want Bitcoin to go down. You want to get a bigger slice. Like my biggest fear is that my best years that I have ahead of me are for income perspective is where Bitcoin already ran over $1 million. Like that's why I'm really trying to go as hard as possible into Bitcoin, into everything right now, and doing a lot of work because my biggest fear is that the Bitcoin price just runs away. And I could have the chance of securing a lot of Bitcoin, but I didn't because the Bitcoin price just went away. So if this is kind of the down price, it's like it's not really a downside. And then we of course have also this thing of like 106K pro Freefall. Come on, grow up. Like I do agree with that because it's if you zoom out, let's zoom out together. Let's take the chart again and let's see where we are year to date. Are you guys seeing that? Or are you guys not seeing that? Year to date, we are up 15%. That's not great. Like we have been promised, oh, we're going up 50, 60%. And of course, there will be years where we're not going up that much. I personally think 2025 will be a huge year. I personally think the next 2 years, I think 2 months will be huge, but there's no guarantee for that really. And so still 15%, amazing. And then 1 year, if we're going back, it's still 60%. It's still above those 50%. It's freaking amazing. like we are 60% up, like that's tremendous. And then the 5 years, obviously, like we almost 10x in the 5 years still. Like people have the sentiment that we are in a bear market. People have the sentiment of like everything crashed to zero. Like it feels like we have to give up and like it's over. But honestly, we are up 10x over the last 5 years, almost 10x over the last 4 years, over 9x. Like that's huge. And I think, Ratoshi mentioned it right now here. Sentiment-wise, 106K is the new 16K. And I 100% agree. And this is kind of the power of Bitcoin, where we are kind of falling to a higher. Like it's like we are falling, we are crashing upwards in the chain. And this is a huge thing that people don't really get, where there's like, it is a dip and it's happening all over again. And we have seen in 2021. We have seen in 2021, it's the biggest crash that I went through personally, where I was already all in. Like before the crash in 2021, I completely went all into Bitcoin. And I saw my net worth going from the 69K Bitcoin all the way down to 16K. This was hurtful. Like of course, like this is something that you get comments from families, friends that are concerned of like, oh, Bitcoin is maybe it's over, like what is happening? And I was very convinced of Bitcoin. Not as convinced as I am now. Like now I have interviewed 600 different people on Bitcoin on my podcast, but I was back then already all in, already convinced, but still there's this fear going on of like, oh, maybe now the bubble goes and now it falls down to the ground. And I understand it. It's human. It's especially if you're new to the space. Like it's not that easy. But you always have to remember, if you fear for the Bitcoin price to go down, this is just a reminder for yourself to educate yourself a little bit more, to dig deeper into the Bitcoin ecosystem. What else is going on there? Can I read a book? Can I listen to more podcasts? Can I do this and this and this? So like this is kind of your point of saying like, now I have to dig deeper into this asset. So I 100% agree. Buy the dip, it's tasty, 100%. What do we have here? Robin, we need your bullishness over on Simply Bitcoin. We need you on again with the new studio. I'm a mod over there if you like me to help. Absolutely, I would love to come on. Like tell them I'm game anytime. I just interviewed, like just had Opti on my podcast not that long ago. Like Simply Bitcoin is doing a phenomenal job. I love those guys. That's actually one of the reasons why I laid my podcast a little later, because I didn't want to interfere with their live stream, because their live stream is absolutely phenomenal. And I really, really, really encourage everyone to just like check Simply Bitcoin out. Like great guys. So, okay, like welcome. Let's have one more comment. Welcome to the great crash up. Like you said, even when it goes down, it's a chance to acquire more. Absolutely. This is the whole game of Bitcoin. When it goes down, you just get a bigger slice of freedom. Now back to the posts. What do we have here? We haven't finished the video. So let's see this.
It went up to $1,200, came back to 92, meeting now none of the criteria of a bubble. Then what did it do? Well, it zoomed up to $19,000, down to $3,200, meeting, once again, none of the criteria of a bubble, 35 times the previous low price. Then it zoomed up to $69,000, down to $15,000, once again, meeting none of the criteria of any historical bubble we have ever seen. Bubbles look like the bottom left of this chart. They do not look like the orange line. So what does? look like that orange line? Well, it turns out every high value asset that has ever become a $1 trillion industry or asset looks just like that on a logarithmic chart. Apple, Amazon, Netflix, even gold, when you zoom out, goes through the same pattern. And all of these assets do it for the same reason. The marketplace is trying to figure out how big of a deal is this asset? How big of a deal?
This is a small thing he said here that I think is very important to pay attention. Why does this volatility, those like small bubbly phases happen? Why does the price go down, the price goes up, especially in the bull cases, like especially if Bitcoin is going up a lot? It's actually those instances where it's more volatile. When it's going down or when it's like kind of sideways, it's not that volatile. But in the bull runs, it's actually more volatile. And this is happening because of price discovery. The market tries to figure out what is the price. And especially in those bull cases, more people come into Bitcoin because there's more attention towards Bitcoin. And when there's more attention to Bitcoin, obviously, more people will buy it and also sell it. And so there's more volume there, there's more volatility in there. And so this is just normal price discovery, because there are a lot of different opinions on Bitcoin. Like, we are very clear on one point, probably most of them in the live stream, that we think that Bitcoin has a bright future ahead of it. And we've talked about that on Wednesday, how huge the market capitalization or the market opportunity for Bitcoin really is. And so having a huge opportunity like that brings volatility. And I personally think, I don't have data for that, but I personally think the higher the opportunity, the higher the volatility will be, because it's just like the people on the left side say, oh, Bitcoin is going to the moon. It's the biggest asset ever. It will get all the financial purchasing power and energy in there. And then the other side says like, oh yeah, like it's a crash, it's a bubble, it's like it's nothing, it's tulip mania, like all of that. If there's like so different opinions on there, like gold doesn't have that many different opinions. It has different opinions, but it proved itself so long already that it's not as volatile, because it doesn't have to prove itself that much. Bitcoin still in the proving phase, in the monetization phase, in the price discovery phase, very much. I mean, all assets are always in some sort of price discovery, but there are levels to it. And Bitcoin isn't that, and that's why it's volatile, because people are always like, oh, like, if it's so great, why is this crashing down? Because it's in price discovery. If you don't want the volatility, just wait 10, 20 years. Miss out on $1 million Bitcoin, miss out on a $10 million Bitcoin, miss out on a $100 million Bitcoin, and then it's no longer volatile, probably way before that. So let's go back to the video, what he's kind of saying here.
Is this industry, and what role will this commodity, technology, or company impact in the global world? Bitcoin's doing the same thing for the very same reason, which is the opposite of how any bubble in human history has ever behaved. So why is it valuable? Well, for the first time in human history, we have a borderless, predictable, and scarce monetary asset. What do I mean? Borderless because Bitcoin is decentralized. It's not controlled by any country.
This was kind of the interesting part of the talk, of like the bubbly part. And this is kind of like, okay, even if now he goes into fundamentals and the things that we know, like the things that we're diving deep into. But for me, the interesting thing was like kind of seeing the characteristics of Bitcoin and seeing what are those actually, like, are those criteria for bubble even met? And they are absolutely 100% just not met. And of course, when we talk about gold and Bitcoin, we have to bring up one guy. And I guess you probably already know who I'm talking about. I met him at the Bitcoin Las Vegas show. I previously saw him there. And we talked logically about Peter Schiff. And Peter is a gold bug. He is, but more well known for the few people, for the two people that are here watching and saying like, oh, I don't know Peter Schiff, because I probably think that most of them here watching actually know Peter Schiff. For the few people that might not know him, he is the most famous Bitcoin the most famous Bitcoin, what should I say? The most famous Bitcoin critic, the most famous Bitcoin hater. And this is really interesting because he's saying now gold is more likely to hit $1 million than Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, let's look at that. Let's just look at that. Let's see if there's any merit to this whole thing. Is there any merit to it? And then I was like, okay, as you know, guys, I love this chart. Like, okay, what is the total global asset value? We see here Bitcoin at 2 trillion. We see here gold at 22 trillion. And we see here a bunch of other things. So real estate, bonds, everything. In total, according to Jesse Myers, this is 1,000 trillion US dollars. So if we go then and see, okay, what does this mean? What are the situations? And I actually calculated that right before the before the live stream started. Gold at $1 million price would be a 7,000 trillion US dollar market cap asset. So if you remember back, here we have 1,000 trillion US dollars, and if gold reaches a price of 1 million US dollars, we would have the 7x of that. So absolutely tremendously unrealistic, obviously. And then when we look at Bitcoin, how huge would Bitcoin be at a price of 1 million US dollars? Obviously, a little bit easier to calculate because we know exactly how many Bitcoin there are. And so we can just say, okay, how many Bitcoin there are, multiply by the price, 1 million, we come to 21 trillion. Yes, of course, there are right now not 21 million Bitcoin. There will never be in total 21 million Bitcoin. We will always be under that because through some mining things, there have been Bitcoin burned. I think it's like 30 Bitcoin. So they are not even redeemable. Even if we assume all the lost coins come back, we never get to 21 million. But that's a whole nother discussion. Just for simplicity, I kept with those numbers. So that's why, that's just like, as I think Ratoshi mentioned it here, that he's selling gold on his website, and obviously it makes sense for him to promote that and put, for my opinion, just like stupid opinions like that out there, and it's crazy for me because Bitcoin absolutely will hit $1 million. Gold will absolutely never hit $1 million outside of hyperinflation, and then it's like gold probably hits $1 million because US dollars will be completely devalued over time, and gold has always some value. So gold will always go up over time. It's just a matter of time till it reaches that point. But what is that 1 million US dollar actually worth in that time? And Bitcoin will reach it not only way faster, but also actually, like in an actual, if you adjust it for the inflation, for the actual inflation, Bitcoin will still hit $1 million. So this is the kind of the key difference there that we are kind of seeing. And it was crazy for me. I saw that, and I'm curious what you guys think. I saw that and I was like, is that real? Is that real? Are people actually standing in line to buy gold because we had an all-time high? Like, what is selling? I had that feeling in my mind. Okay, if Bitcoin is if gold is on an all-time high, maybe they're selling. I don't know, because maybe they're like, oh, my gold is now so much worth, and they are putting it there and they're selling it now. I don't know, maybe, but it's just crazy for me to see this. And even the conclusion that there might be people actually buying it because we're an all-time high. And I think the overall sentiment is that people are actually standing there to buy gold and not to sell it. It's crazy because people are like, oh yeah, like it's an all-time high, now I come in. And the same thing happens with Bitcoin all the time. When you're at all-time high, this is where the whole sentiment is the biggest, where the most people actually want to come in. Now, super, super important to note here what gold and Bitcoin is actually doing. And yeah, I do agree with Ratoshi here a lot, actually. That line was at the topping signal for gold. Now it's down 3%, down more from the top than the stock market. Yeah, 100%. Like, this is 100% the thing. And actually, because I get that request actually, like, not often, but here and there, from, like, as Raphael also said here, Robin, please do a podcast with Mr. Peter in a live stream. Mr. Peter, I presume Peter Schiff. I don't know if I want that. He's a fun character, and he's actually not a stupid guy. Like, I on a lot of things I respect him. Like, there's a lot of things where I'm like, oh, like, that's really interesting what he has to say about that, about the economy, about the history. But then he's either lying about Bitcoin to sell gold, or he's really not getting it. And I talked with Larry Lepar actually on that. I talked with Larry Lepar and asked him, like, oh, what do you think? I was with him, I think in Abu Dhabi, at Bitcoin Mina. I was with him, and I asked him, like, what do you think is the real reason that Peter Schiff is so anti-Bitcoin? And Larry said, like, oh, I think he actually doesn't get it. Like, I think he actually thinks that Bitcoin is still this weird thing that will never have value, which is kind of crazy for me. I feel like it's all an act. He has Bitcoin. I think he understands it. But in either case, even if he is lying and puts on an act, or he's actually that stupid to not understand Bitcoin, in both cases, I don't know if I want to talk with him. Like, obviously, I think he's a huge personality. It will also be like a hurdle to actually get him on the podcast, because, like, he gets a lot of requests. He could be on a lot of podcasts. But honestly, I don't know. I don't feel like reaching out to him. That's what I'm saying. But hey, maybe we cross path one day, and maybe I decide, hey, let's jump on a podcast. I've seen him very briefly last time in Las Vegas, so maybe this happens. It's not a no, but maybe it happens down the line somewhere. Yeah, 100%. Let's go into what Anthony Pompliano has to say here. I'm really curious to what you guys think about that. Let's see what. Let's share this tab instead, and we are good to go. Let's mute.
So about 1 year ago, Bitcoin was at like $70,000.
Yeah, I know.
So it has still had incredible performance. If you go back to 2020, it's up 1,500%, right? So one of the things that I like to do is I like to take assets and denominate them in Bitcoin. So anyone can make money when you compare it to the dollar. The dollar only goes down. And so if you look at stocks, the S&P is up 100%.
This is so interesting, because I see this. I know we Bitcoiners know that. I know we know this is like, yes, obviously this is really bad. Like the like, why should we denominate it in US dollars? Like, there's real assets like Bitcoin, like gold, like other metals. Like, there's real assets out there. Why should we denominate in US dollars? And most people, their whole life view is there is US dollars, or there's euros, or there's yens, or there's like whatever currency there is dominant in your jurisdiction. This is the main thing they are thinking about. They don't think about Bitcoin. They don't think about gold, denominating something in gold. I showed you guys on Wednesday what happens if you denominate real estate in gold. Since forever it's going down. Real estate is crashing down. In Bitcoin terms, it's crashing down. In gold terms, it's crashing down everywhere if you look at real assets. And so when you look then, again, it's like, what do I denominate something in there? And if you then denominate yourself in Bitcoin, this is the main thing that actually makes sense of like, hey, I denominate myself in Bitcoin. This is the most superior asset. This is the most soundest money. This is the most valuable asset on earth that will one day become the most valuable asset on earth. I want to do that. And ever since that I do that, this kind of proves for me is like, oh, it's the new hurdle rate. If I think about what else should I invest in? Should I invest in gold maybe a little bit more? Should I invest in real estate? Should I invest in stocks? No. Like, why the heck should I do that? Like, I have the most superior asset on earth, and this actually makes a lot of sense for me, where this makes no other person actually can do anything with that. So I have to let's look back into this Anthony Pompliano's thing here.
Since January of 2020. In Bitcoin terms, it's down 88%. So while stock investors think they're winning, when you compare it to a finite asset that can't be debased, they're actually down significantly. When you look at gold, similar story. Gold is actually up about 150% since January of 2020. But when you denominate it in Bitcoin price, it's down 84%. And so again, it kind of comes back to this idea of what is your hurdle rate? Are you trying to outperform dollars, or are you trying to outperform a finite asset? For me, I think of Bitcoin as the hurdle rate. And as many people know, the hurdle rate, if you can't beat it, I think you got to buy it. What do you
Absolutely, 100%. By the way, I've got some comments here in Rumble. I don't know if you're a bot or because like you're putting a lot of comments in there. But I get this also a lot in from gold bucks or from like metal guys, and they are mentioning always, oh, we have to because it's digital, it's like a CBDC, and this is something that I'm actually looking at, and I feel like this is so sad for me. Because those people that really fight for freedom, they are for cash money and not for digital money. They are for gold and not for any fiat currencies. They should be on the Bitcoin side. Like, they should actually get what Bitcoin is doing. And this is really sad for me, because I see so many of those people that say, hey, I want to fight for freedom. I want to fight for sovereignty. And there's a big mismatch between people that have an understanding for fighting for freedom, have an understanding what central banks are doing, have an understanding for the system, but they don't have an understanding for what Bitcoin is. So they haven't dig deep enough into Bitcoin. And it's such a sad thing for me to witness. So I encourage everyone always, also in my comments, because I've seen that lately, not that much actually, but I've seen that, like, I think like a half a year or a year ago was a big wave of people saying like, oh, Bitcoin is just like, it's invented from the CIA. It's like this and that. And it's like, yes, okay. But look at it from open mind. Look at it like what it actually is. See the code. You can trust the code because you can verify the code. You don't have to trust it. This is the whole point. And so it's very sad for me to see a big group of people that are fighting for freedom, fighting for the right thing that we are all fighting for. But then there's a disconnect between, oh, it's digital, so it must be the same as CBDCs. It must be the same as fiat currencies. It must be the same as all the crypto things. And it's one of the saddest things I see, because those people should actually be with us. Ratoshi, thank you so much for 5 memberships. That's freaking amazing. Like, honestly, thank you so much, Ratoshi. Our podcast was so cool. I loved it so much. I guess I have to like get you on the live stream once. I will open it to guest one day. I just have to figure out the whole setting. But this was really, really cool. And ignorance and ego is a powerful drug. I do agree with that. That's really cool. Yeah, absolutely. Now we have one more thing. I wanted to make it quick today, but we are approaching already 1 hour. I wanted to show you guys something. I thought it was fun. He's one of the guys that I don't listen a lot to. He's very controversial. I've seen things that I like from him. I've seen things that I really hate from him. But I just wanted to show it because I found it not only funny, but I found it actually quite insightful. And maybe you guys get also a kick out of it. This is, I have to share it also with you guys. This is, you guys might know him. And he talked about Bitcoin, Andrew Tate, and this is like really interesting to listen to. And there's some really big truth to what he's saying. but he could be a comedian. I like how he says things. Again, like I don't know a lot about him. I just know that he is very controversial, and every time I listen to him, I'm like, oh, like he speaks really good, but sometimes also like some BS.
Always. Why crypto keeps going down, because all of you are analyzing the market saying, why is it going down? Who's selling? Who's the bear? I've looked at the angles on the chart and I don't know why it's still going down. Let me tell you why it's going down. It's going down because you think it won't. So everyone's max longing because the market's become super volatile. Most people have lost all of their money. So everyone's like, well, it can't go any lower. Let me just borrow some money and let me max long and make it all back in one trade. Let me tell you a secret of the universe. Everything can always get worse.
And this is actually something really important to talk about, because there is this, I see this sometimes from Bitcoiners where they go ahead and say like, oh, like we are now at this corner and now it cannot go lower. Like it cannot go lower than 80K or it cannot go lower than 70K. And yes, at this point, I don't think we'll ever go back to like the 50K or 40K, but it's not unrealistic. And you shouldn't plan for it. Like you shouldn't plan for a situation where Bitcoin is not going down. So that might be a little bit confusing. So you should always calculate in your head of like, am I good if Bitcoin is going down 90%? Again, I don't think this will happen. Absolutely not. I think this was just like a short crash and we will probably cruise to 115K. I don't know, but probably that's what's gonna happening. And so when we think about what's actually going on psychologically, if you're already maxed out and you're already all in Bitcoin, like I am, and then you go down, we do 80K, and you're like, that's the bottom. Like it cannot go lower. Now I'm going all in. I go all my credit cards, everything put on there, and this is like. I max out my credit cards, and then maybe it goes down another 20 or 30K. I don't think this will happen, but it might be. Like you never know what's happening in the market. Short-term volatility can always be happening, and then are you still okay? Like this is always the question that you have to ask yourself: are you still okay if Bitcoin is going down 90%? Are you? Like I am. I'm 100% in Bitcoin. Like I don't care about the fiat price. I have a positive cash flow every month. I don't need to live from my Bitcoin. I don't leverage. I don't do any tradings like that. I just like have Bitcoin and that's it. So I'm good. If Bitcoin goes down tomorrow to $1,000, again, don't think this will happening. I'm fine. I'm okay. Like I will probably do a 24/7 live stream, but I'm okay. And so what comments do we have here? Andrew Tate said 30K, but he's often delusional. yeah, I don't think we see 26K. Like he's saying here 26K, 30K. Like I don't think this is happening. But he has a point of like you should expect it, because then you're prepared in case it actually happens. Like this is kind of like an interesting thing. He's correct. Will go down until all the leverage retards are broke or flip shorts. Yeah, 100%. That's why I wanted to show this video, because there was actually a lot of interesting truths in there, and it was not that bad, I feel like.
You could lose your entire family in a car crash, and it could be the worst day of your life. And on your way to the morgue to identify the bodies, you could also get in a car crash and lose a leg. And then on your way to the hospital, the ambulance could crash and lose a hand. And then when you're recovering with no family and no hand and no leg, you get an infection.
The remaining of the video is basically just like that. I think we can cut that. But it's really interesting. I think it's very entertaining how he's explaining that, because it is like that. It can always get worse. For example, Bitcoin go down now to, let's say, 90K, and then let's say Binance goes bust. Like I don't know, like could happening. I don't think it will happen, but Binance goes bust. Then we go down to 50K. What if in those 50K another 2-3 things happening? Like we can have a bear market like that's possible. I don't think it will happen, but it's a possibility. To answer that question 100%, Jerry Loves Freedom podcast come out very soon. I don't know the date exactly. Like, should I look up the date for you guys? I think like it's in a few days. It will come out next week, 100%. I don't know by heart like what date it will come out, but next week it will come out. Will be absolutely amazing. Jerry Loves Freedom, a great guy. I have to get him on the live stream also. He's a great guy. And so with that, I conclude my short live stream from my hotel room. I hope the audio was okay. I'm using the hotel Wi-Fi. I really hope you guys even understand me. I hope I'm not breaking up all the time. So thank you so much for everyone to join me here. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's the second week of live streaming, and I will keep doing that for a very long time just because it's very entertaining for me to have the comments that I otherwise see on the other side. Like I post about, like usually it goes like that. I record a podcast, then 1 or 2 weeks later it goes out, and then like 1-2 days later I actually see the comments, and then I was like, oh yeah, like it's so long ago, so I cannot really like relate to it. And now it's like so in time. It's like I see it right there, and so I have that feeling. I think that I will start actually live stream my podcast. What do you guys think about that? Like, leave me some comments here. Like what would you guys think if I stop actually pre-recording them and just putting them out as live, so you guys can be with me together with the guest. We can talk about the questions, and we can actually have a segment where we have a Q&A, and just the guest and me are just like going after one question after another, right when the podcast kind of like ended. And this is kind of what where I think the show could actually end up, where I make a daily live stream, where I have kind of an overview on some interesting news pieces, like half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. And then then the guest comes in for like an hour or like 1.5 hours. And then we have like a long, big freaking live stream that goes on forever. And we can just have a rip. And this is kind of my view of like where the live stream and the podcast might develop. And then on the next day, like on podcast platforms, Spotify, like all of those places, the podcast will still come out. But I think having YouTube live streaming all the podcasts right when I do them, like that should be absolutely awesome. And yeah, as you guys said, like that would be a great idea, I think also. And then absolutely great idea. Gary is also here. Man, Gary, I think you have been here forever on every single live stream, so thank you so much for that. I thought it was only me with the bedroom bed. No, it's not only you. I'm in the hotel room, so I guess I have to do this also. So anyways, thank you so much. I have tomorrow my first ever, can you believe that? I have tomorrow for my first ever presentation about Bitcoin. I mean, I give presentations on my podcast and also on the live stream like very frequently, but the first time ever where I give a presentation, like a clicking presentation with slides and everything like that, on stage at BTC Balkans. And before I only did speaking, like speaking in a panel where I was a speaker there, or where I was a moderator, like there's like a moderator and 3 speakers, and I was one of those 4 people, either the moderator or the speaker. And this is the first time ever where I'm alone on the stage. I have the microphone, so I'm really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. And if any one of you guys are tomorrow at BTC Balkans and you're also here, tell me tomorrow, come up to me and tell me tomorrow, oh, I've been on your live stream yesterday. I give you a special discount for whatever product you want. Like this is, I think this will be a fun moment. You being on the live stream right now, and then also tomorrow tomorrow in the conference. So yeah, with that, let's leave it with the last comment from Gary. I would say good luck with your talk, but you don't need luck, you'll smash it. Thank you so much, Gary, for those words. And also thank you so much for everyone that is joining in from today. I'll see you guys after the conference on Sunday, also from this hotel. I'll stay a little longer in Bulgaria. So thank you so much for joining me here. I'll see you back. I'll be back on Sunday at the same time. Bye-bye.
This content is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial advice.